Amelia, is it a bit windy?
Yeah. I did that. I did the bucket.
Is it okay?
No.
Oh. What are we going to do? It's like a hurricane, isn't it?
No. The moon.
You press the moon and that one should make it okay.
Welcome to another episode of Toby's Stupid Vlog.
Hi, happy Monday. It's 4:15. I'm going for a long walk to pick up Amelia. Crystal has gone back into the office today for the first time since, the government said you should work from home again, and then they said you should work from the office again. Yes, I've been on my own at home. I have literally no work to do at the moment, which is a very weird feeling, and I do have work coming, and some of it's going to be a bit annoying to start with because from these tight turnaround jobs, but the only thing I really want to achieve is to move house, and all that work stuff, whatever, work comes and goes. That's what I've come to learn, is that sometimes you have it and sometimes you don't, and you just have to accept that and not think about it much more than that. That's a reasonably fortunate position to be in, I realise, but that's where I am, and it's not, it's not my raison d'etre, and it's just doing work well is satisfying, but I don't live to work by any stretch. Anyway, so yes, that's what's coming up, hopefully. This weekend past, we were at my parents'. I never film much when we're at my parents'. It was good. It was fun. It was nice to go out for a meal. It was nice to see everybody, but Amelia managed to, make a pickle of herself, in so much as she's got her last tooth coming through. So literally the only night where she had to sleep in the same room as us, she was up and down and crying and all sorts. So that was great sleep on Saturday night. And then yesterday, about lunchtime, just before we left, she decided to copy her cousins and jump up and down on the sofa. And you can guess how that ended. It ended with her falling off the sofa and hurting her foot. And the only words I've really heard out of her mouth pretty much since then is, "My foot hurts." And it doesn't seem to be serious, in so much as whenever I poke it and say, "Does this hurt?" I get no reaction. And sometimes she says it's her ankle, but then when she moves her ankle, there's no problem. And sometimes she seems to forget which foot it is. So it's clearly a surprising pain, but I don't think that it's that serious. She has gone to nursery today. We'll find out how much limping there was, or whether it kind of went away after a bit. So I've had a quiet day, but I'm still completely exhausted, and that is the very essence of being a parent. It doesn't matter if you're quiet or busy, you're still tired. Hi there, happy Wednesday. I have come for a walk after having picked up some iPads for the job I'm doing tomorrow evening from Neil. This is the back of Denby's. You can see the hotel part is undergoing quite a fancy wood structured extension. There's Box Hill behind. These are the vines. I do love a vineyard. It's very homely feeling. And I'm going to do a round walk and end up back at the farm shop behind me. This is a very nice path because in fact it's almost a road. It's the vineyards track back to the original farm, and they drive their land train up here on the tours, so it's kept in pretty good order. It's a beautiful woods on this hillside. This is just where it gets steep. Obviously the vines go up to the sort of base of the hill, It's not completely flat where the vines are. There's a gentle slope which helps. But as soon as it gets steep, you're into the woodland because it's very rocky here. Although, you know, actually, if you cleared the trees, I'm not suggesting you should, you'd actually probably have very good slopes for great production, but it would be quite hard to manage and harvest them. It's a beautiful woodland. Even at this time of year, it's so dense and all the trees are so straight. You've got bits of, it looks like wild box or something similar to box hedging growing here in tree form. It must have been planted and has just been left. I don't know if you can make out through the trees back down the hill where the farm or the vineyard headquarters is, the state shop and winemaking headquarters, as it were. As I say, it's called Denby's because the original farm is Denby's Farm, which is up this road I'm walking up. Not actually down there where all the winemaking shenanigans goes on. Here you go, this is what I mean. This is a patch where the trees have been cleared and you've got some very steep vines. I'm curious what it is they grow all the way up here. The rest of the vines are in the, mostly in what you'd call the valley floodplain at the bottom. It's quite a big establishment. I suppose before English winemaking became this sort of premium affair, and before it was so well respected, there were very few English vineyards that were willing to sort of stick their neck out and say we're proudly an English vineyard, and one of those that did was Denby's. And whilst it still doesn't occupy the premium space for most of its wine, it's sort of stuck true to its ideals. It's very, very good everyday wine. It's very drinkable and therefore very well priced. And it's in a beautiful setting, as you can see. So, you know, if you are towards Dorking, which is there, and you fancy like wandering around a vineyard, then I would recommend Denby's, if only for the ginormous scale and just to show, you know, what kind of one of the journeys of where English wine started. One thing that's very apparent from up here is just the scale of Denby's. It just stretches on and on and on. And I'm going to look up exactly how big it is, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the biggest vineyards in England. So from what I can find, Denby's has 89.7 hectares of vines planted. The total UK planting, I think, is 2,700 and something hectares. So Denby's is still a large part of that, although not as large as it once was. The UK vine planting market is growing by the year at quite a rate. It's the largest single vineyard, is what I will say. There are some estates like Gusbourne and Nye Timber and Chapel Down, who are all big names in English wine, who have multiple vineyards now, but no single one of those is bigger than this. So it's worth a visit. The scale is spectacular. I've just had lunch up there at where Denby's farm actually is, and I'm now at the highest point of my walk. And I actually came here a couple of weeks ago, this particular bit of road, on a different walk, but when I get to the church this time I'm going to turn right and go down the hill, down some tiny little sunken lanes at the bottom and back round. It's a bit too cold to stop, it's what I discovered whilst having lunch, so I'm moving again quite soon. Now, interestingly, this is part of the National Trust Polesden Lacey estate, and whilst Polesden Lacey is not a huge distance away, it is not that close either, which gives you some feel for how enormous this estate is. And yeah, in fact, I'm going to be walking down this hill, which is directly due north to a road, and then it's about the same distance again on the other side before you get to what most people probably think of as Polesden Lacey. So it's quite a way, which I didn't realise it's actually grounds extended this far, but it's good. It means it's managed woodland. It's going to be interesting looking at how muddy it is here to see what it's like when we get to the steep downhill part, but I dare say it's going to be too tricky to get the camera out and film. Still, this is a new path and I like walking down a new path. Look at that lovely rolling countryside. This part of Surrey is essentially just 3 or 4 rows of hills, and every now and again you come to the valley in between, and it's really nice. And it does feel quite remote, whereas a lot of bits of Surrey don't necessarily. Anyway, that's very beautiful. The hill's actually not too bad. You can see the path is actually reasonably dry. I've just come out of the woods and now I've got to go down and walk along the road for a little bit. Listen to this. Now the only thing I can hear is a man about a mile away with a chainsaw. Please stop now. Oh, there he is. And a dog. Amazing. What a very quiet place. There's West Humble and Box Hill and what have you. It's ever so nice to see it at this time of year. Just to contrast it with, you know, in the summer that would be, well, the hillside would be very green with trees, but the paths, I dare say, that would look a bit worn. You'd have brown lines in green rather than green lines in brown, and it would be absolutely full of people. And I can't see any people at the moment, which isn't that surprising. But this valley that I've just walked a little bit down is so beautiful and peaceful. You could be in the Lake District, you could be in the Yorkshire Dales. It's amazing. And we're back. Not in so much as we're at the back of the vineyard. That was a really, really nice walk. I didn't have much in the way of expectations because I thought it might all be churned up mud like this. But actually, it was very, very nice and not too damp and beautiful. And I think it was about 7 kilometres, so it's only a couple of hours up when you're going up and down hills. Yeah, really enjoyed that. Back. Look what happens when the clouds clear. It's just an edge. There it is, disappearing off. Suddenly it's blue everywhere. Utterly beautiful. I've missed the sun. It's been days. It's really nice to feel it again. The worst feeling in the world is helplessness, isn't it? When things happen that are beyond your control. Now, sometimes those things are wonderful, and so there's no feeling of helplessness. You know, let's give an example. Let's imagine you won some money on the lottery, or you know, a friend organised a birthday party for you. Those kind of things. That's very positive. But in a situation where there is something at stake, let's say, for you, then a feeling of helplessness is horrible. It eats away at you, because it's not in our instinct as humans to accept the way that we can't influence things. I mean, I'm especially bad, but most people don't have a built-in capacity to just accept the world as it is. We've been told from a very young age that we can make things happen and we can change things and what have you. And when you hit an obstacle where that's not the case, it's like if someone's just told you that, you know, that the world isn't real and that everything you believe is a fallacy. And it always helps to do little things that you can control to make yourself feel better. That is what I'm learning with this house sale / buying process. It's agonising, and the only way to feel better about it is to do little things. Speak to people, try and control the few things you can control. and it helps a bit. It's still not what I'd describe as a great feeling, but it's less of a sort of feeling of devastation and loss that you have otherwise. So that's where we are. We're still plodding along, still haven't resolved anything, but everyone could do it if they just got their fucking asses in gear. So who knows? I really don't want to pick up this camera again until I have some positive news. So nice to actually come up to the walkway in the temperate house and look down at the temperate forests below and just hear the waterfall going through the ferns there. This really is one of the most spectacular buildings for horticulture in the world, and probably my favourite. It's wonderful. You can see the other parts of it through there. There's an octagon and a rectangle that go off each side. Welcome, it is the 27th of January and I'm back at an awards event. Yes, it's as exciting as the title suggests, but it's just nice to be back. There haven't been at an award since, I don't know when, November, so it feels like a while. Things are looking up on the house sale. I won't curse it by telling what exactly, but hopefully tomorrow we'll have some more information. I have to find the event organisers, who vanished into thin air, to give them a load of iPads. Life is good. Then I might drink a non-alcoholic cocktail.